If your client comes in, they're like, oh, my QL, my psoas. You can sit here and get a little creative with it, kind of open things up. We're warming it up.
I feel it in here too.
Yeah. Because you think everything's connecting in. We've got the psoas coming in, connecting. We've got the quads coming in and connecting. So we want to just give everything space and start to warm it up. Especially if you plan to do some work there, you don't want to come in and just be like, yeah. You know, we want to do some things to kind of give some warmth, give some length.
And I feel it in my SI as well, which this leg is usually pretty jinky, so I need that space in my SI, so great job.
Nice. So from here, I use my left-handed lifter up, my right hand to get her foot, kind of just rotate out and get my feet out from under my bottom. The biggest thing about this is we want to bring her leg past the 90 degrees. I'm going to bring my foot in and I'm going to have it right here at the top. The way I have it is that my arch is basically hugging her hamstring. And depending on what's going on with your client's ankle, you may have someone that you feel separation. You may have to kind of change your, the way you're holding. I sometimes hold like this, so I'm kind of working the foot at the same time. What I'm doing is I'm bringing it past the 90 degree, getting my foot into place, and then I'm leaning back. I'm using the arch, so big, broad arch, yeah. And it literally just fits there. It's like it was meant to be there. You can also have your... That's very mean. We will use it eventually, but you don't want to use it first. You know, it's the broad to specific. I like Danielle, she's my friend, so I'm gonna use my, she would jump off the mat too. She's the heels, woo, party time. So as I bring her past the 90, I find a new spot for my foot, just kind of working down the leg, and then I lean back. You always come in here and do a little, her little ankle. Is it bothering you at all when I'm grabbing it?
No, not really.
I'm trying to move it up just in case, because after a while when you're doing certain things, you'll notice that like these edge fabric of your shirt, that's why I always tell my clients to wear like soft clothes. I say be careful if they're slippery, like slippery Under Armour or slippery yoga pants, because you'll slide around. But just to make sure their clothing isn't rough, because you'll start to notice it'll, you know, you might break little blood vessels, which isn't a big deal, but we don't really want to cause any harm, of course.
Sometimes your clients will come in with lotion.
Oh, yes.
Because they like to be soft. Which means they're going to slide all around.
Yeah.
Having like an extra towel or a washcloth or even powder to grab the slippery limb makes a big difference. Sometimes I have extra face cradles lying around and they fit nicely in my hand. Grab on. But you could also use the yoga blanket.
A pillowcase. You can see my right leg is just, there's a lot of body contact here, but it's just hanging out. I think as the receiver, you'll notice that this is pretty comfortable. It's kind of nurturing. You know, on table, we're always told like not touch with anything other than our hands or what. But when we come onto the mat, it's more of like a warm feeling as the receiver, having that, yeah.
I like to tell my clients I'm kind of like a big dog. Leaning against you. And it's
So
true though, but I'm like, I'm a big Great Dane. Being like, just imaginary dog.
There you go. So you'll notice that I'm using my outside leg and not my inside leg, right? And the reason is because after we've done a couple passes, you know, I went down the leg and I stopped right about here. And the reason is once I get here, I'm like getting near her business. The leg starts to get all funky. I'm losing control. So it's kind of like 3/4 the way, just past half. There's a really yummy spot right in here. But once I get much lower than that, you'll start to notice when it's like, ooh, that's about the spot where I'm gonna start moving up. It's right about here. I'm not gonna go any lower than that, but I will go back up. But anyway, back to the whole point of my left leg, so I can go to the next one. So you flip your foot so that you can open the hip. And as we remember, Danielle was having some tight hips, so I'm just gonna, I already know, I'm gonna bring this in here because I know that she's gonna need a little support. The point of that is we want our receiver to be able to just let go. If they're having to hold on or if their hip is dangling, you know, they're not actually getting 100% the benefit that they could get. If we just support their hip really easily with one of these Sorry, I keep popping in the foot. One of these great blankets. It just gives her hips some support so she can just let go and receive what we're doing here. So I'm gonna kind of scoot in, bring her foot in towards me. Sometimes when we're doing this, the client might slip a little bit. I think we're doing good. So I'm starting at the top of her hamstring and I'm coming in with my arch. Do remember that our heels are super sharp and my heel is poking her in there, but I think that I'm grabbing enough arch, it's doing okay, right?
Yeah, it's okay.
If your client wants less pressure, we can just hook the foot in there. You can lean back and just hang out, right? So my client does want less. I know this because I know Danielle. But we're gonna, no, you go.
I was gonna say, like, as the receiver, I know that she's closer to my groin area, but I in no way feel compromised or encroached upon. I feel still very safe in that area, and I know that closer up there needs work.
And that's the beautiful thing about having our mat, clothes on mat-based work is that we can get really high into areas that previously would be like red flags if clients are asking for it, or maybe we feel uncomfortable giving it, or clients may feel uncomfortable receiving it. Because like, man, I have a little sheet between me and you, and like, yes, there needs to be work up there, but it just sometimes can feel a little awkward, right?
How many times do you get messages at 2 a.m.? I pulled a groin muscle. I'm sure you did at 2:30 in the morning. So sure, I have no problem working on you fully clothed with my feet.
So for more intense work, which is what I like to hold the foot. This gives this nice traction here, and this is where you get a little leverage.
Are you just pushing with that one foot?
Mm-hmm. This foot's just holding place
Okay.
at this point. Mm-hmm.
I feel it. Y'all.
So I've pressed all the way up towards my other foot. Now I'm going to come in little kitty making biscuits. We like kitty making biscuits. But kitty making biscuits is a little intense, right?
It is. It feels so good.
Yeah. So we don't start off with kitty making biscuits for, first time clients. We want to warm up with just like a single foot press.
It really feels good though. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's insane.
Those kitties are onto something.
They are.
So after this here, I'm just going to give her a little tuck, lock her back in. And mind you, like we said, with different people, different bodies, if I was working on someone super tall, like their foot, we would have like a weird little thing. You figure out how your bodies connect together. You're going to constantly deal with this throughout your practice. You being tall, you being short, working with a different body. And you figure it out. It always works out one way or the other. So now I'm going to come in with my beautiful heel, and I'm going to come up to the top. And I'm going right between the muscles. And that's all she wants. Normally I might go all the way. Not for Danielle. We're just saying hello with the heel. But you'll notice, like, especially, you guys, people that work out a lot, you'll notice that your clients that are like bodybuilders or just they work out, lift heavy weights, this kind of stuff, the pointed stuff, like they need because their muscles are so strong and like they're so thick that for people like Danielle or I that don't work out, we don't need as much as that. And there was a girl that used to train with us that's all she worked with was bodybuilders. Like she worked out at the gym, she worked on all of her people that, and she would come in just with her little bony self, like, and be like, like I'm not made like them. Until I finally, like last summer, I did train for a little CrossFit competition. So I did understand at that point, I was like, I feel it. Like, yeah, give me that point because I need it. Like I need you to break through this dense tissue.